Hey guys, wInevitable here with another hero guide. We're looking at Sonya, the Barbarian from Diablo. That's right, the war chief here, I guess you call her, the war queen. She's back, and she is brutal. She's got those gigantic swords. This is pretty awesome skin you can buy. It's not the default skin, of course. There's also a master skin as well. This one looks pretty awesome, I have to say, with the red tint on it. Riding that battle beast into the fray. She's a unique hero, and a lot of fun to play. I mean, there's very few heroes I would say are not a lot of fun to play in Heroes of the Storm. But Sonya, with her uniqueness, she is a little fragile, you know, like a house of cards in a way. But if you're good with her, she can do a lot of cool things and is certainly viable, at least in solo queue. You don't see as much of her in competitive play right now. Currently, she's not really a good solo tank because you do notice 930 hit points, one of the smallest, you know, health pools in the game, ahead of an Anubarak, of course, but she's, you know, even almost 1,000 fewer hit points than a Tyrael. So she is quite squishy. Yeah, 900 less hit points than a Tyrael, and at level 20, she's just under 5,000 at 4,920 hit points, and that, you know, a Tyrael, for example, is at 5,200, while, you know, your Diablo and your Stitches are at 6,000. Still has decent health regen too, and so while she's squishy for a tank, she is beefier than some of the other heroes in the game, you know, than most other heroes in the game. You just have to be cognizant of that fact, and she's not really a good solo tank. She can't take a ton of damage. She'll just kind of fold under the weight. But with two tanks, pretty awesome because she's got decent damage and good lockdown. A little bit. We'll show some of that off as we get into the build. But what makes her unique more than anything, I think, is the Fury. It's her trait. She does not use mana. There's no mana here. You can see right now in the bottom left here, I'm at 0 of 100. Those are takedowns since last death. If you ever wonder what the skulls are down here, it's how many takedowns you have since the last death. Right now I have 0. You know, I'm such a noob. But 0 of 100 Fury. What is Fury? Well, it's not mana, I'll tell you that much. It's, you know, a replacement. And you gain it by taking or dealing damage. Using an ability also will grant you 10% movement speed for 4 seconds. So my QWE gives me a 10% move speed boost. Pretty useful. You know, and that you can kind of escape from things, or you can catch people with that move speed boost. And you'll see if we walk out, let's toggle the minions on here before we show off anything else. Let's just watch the Fury meter. I'm not even going to attack. We'll walk. Try and get in front of these guys, and I'm just going to take some damage. Oh, I actually attacked there. So I got 4 for that damage. I'm not taking any damage, so you can see it's 4 per attack. And I'm trying to... There we go. Oh, no, I'm attacking again. Okay, let's just, you know, we can... Oh, here we go. Walk into this. You can see you start taking some based off of the damage you're receiving. And... It looks like it's one... It's I don't know if it's proportional to the damage, because it is different amounts, but you will get it from taking damage as well as 4 per auto attack. So now I'm at full Fury. I'm not going to get any more, and that's what makes her pretty unique. There's no mana regen. It doesn't just you don't just get, you know, Fury over time. You have to kind of earn it, but it powers all of her abilities with the exception, well, half of her abilities. Q, it does not take Fury, and her heroic does not take Fury. It's cool. They're both cooldown based, while the W and the E abilities do use Fury, and some of her talents can actually use Fury. But let's go through these abilities from the top. Ancient Spear, it's a cooldown of 13 seconds, very similar in some ways to a hook from Stitches, but in another like reverse kind of way. It's a little bit shorter on the cooldown. As I said, no mana, and if you land a hook on an enemy target, or an Ancient Spear, if you land that on an enemy target, you'll get 20 Fury for it. So this is another way to earn Fury. It also, as you can see, pulls you towards the enemy, briefly stuns them, and it deals a bit of damage, 114 at level 1, and of course, you know, that will scale up just like most other things in the game. So you're looking 350 damage, I believe, at level, something around there, at level 20. It's not nothing to scoff at. It's a good, you know, auto attack and a half for some of the assassins. And we'll show it off here. Now, the other ones are not up because I don't have Fury. But we'll show those off too. So the Q, you can see the range. If I hit like a minion, you can hit buildings with it. You can see it landed, it pulled me in, and it briefly stunned the minion. And then I got some Fury. I also had some auto attacks for some more Fury. And now looking at these other abilities, Seismic Slam, Costs 15. It's the most mana. No, I'm sorry, it's not. It's the lowest cooldown of 1 second. So the cooldown's 1 second. So these, you can stack these, and they will eat through your fury because it's 15. So I have enough for 3 right now, and if I go boom, and then I do it again, I kind of want to do it from this angle because you can see it actually damages enemies behind the target. In this case, level 1, 103 damage to the target enemy, 26 to enemies behind it. And so it's a little bit of splash there. It's not side to side, but it will hit people behind the target you've hit. And you can see I can come in, I can stack furies. As soon as if I have the fury, every 1 second I get another one. It can also be used to clear waves. It's a little bit expensive for that, but it's certainly viable. Now, let's go ahead and get some auto attacks and we'll show off Whirlwind. This is the most fury for an ability at 30. It's a shorter, well, it's a longer cooldown yet, at 10 seconds, shorter than the spear, as I kill Arthas by mistake. Now, it's 30 fury to use this, but it deals damage to enemies over 4 seconds, and it heals. Most importantly, it's a 40% heal. This is what it looks like. You can turn it off, obviously, and cancel it, and then you have that 10-second cooldown to count. Okay? So, let's see, it lasts for 4 seconds. So we go to, we'll go all the way back, and you check the cooldown, 4 seconds. So the cooldown starts immediately, and you have it, it's up for 4 seconds. And remember, it heals for 40%. That's really, really big in playing Sonya well. So those are her basic abilities. She has 2 heroics, Leap and Wrath of the Berserker. Pretty cool things. This is going to be a Leap-centric build. Wrath is certainly viable, and you can definitely make it work. Actually, it's a really cool ability that I think is underused right now. But we're going to tend to focus on the Leap here. So let's show off some Wrath of the Berserker. What does it do? It's a cooldown of 30 seconds. That's pretty short for a heroic. You get 30% bonus damage to all basic attacks and abilities, while stun, slows, any disables are reduced by 50%. A little bit of like a built-in cleanse. And it lasts for 10 seconds. It also is extended by 1 second for every 4 fury gained while active. So every auto attack extends it by a second. And I'm attacking 1.25 per second. So if I pop this, just auto attack, you can see the cooldown is not going anywhere. Just attack some minions. So you can see how in a team fight you can keep this going for a long time. And then I'm bringing it right back up. So Wrath of the Berserker has been active this whole time. We can actually come in. You can see how I'm just keeping this heroic up. Oops, I hit a minion there. I'm a noob. But yeah, so now once the battle's over, it's kind of going to fade. So if you're good with Wrath of the Berserker, you can get a 30% boost to your attacks and abilities for the duration of the battle, and any disables are reduced by 50%. So even if you get polymorphed, you get stunned, you get locked down, I mean, you can see how long Wrath of the Berserker, oops, I missed that one. Wrath is still going for this whole time, because I'm getting Fury out of this. And I've had a heroic active for, I don't know how long, but a long time. Pretty cool. And I think it's a little bit underused in favor of Leap, because she is kind of squishy, and you can be focused down a little bit, so it's a little bit harder to use. And the other one is Leap, and that is where you leap into the battle, and it's kind of like a stunning move, kind of like the Dwarf Toss in Murden, but a little bit more epic. I mean, though, what's more epic than a Dwarf Toss? Alright, so we'll level up to 20 and go through this build. It's pretty straightforward. Not really too many variations with it, like some builds. And this is, of course, going to be a Seismic Slam, like a, Seismic Slam build. There's like a Spear build where you build up her Q. This is more focused on the Slam. And we'll probably do like a Spear build in the future and try that out as well. And look more at Wrath of the Berserker, too, and making that viable. Because I think it it's definitely viable as it stands. So on level 1, a few choices here. Basic attacks heal for damage, block, increase your maximum amount of fury, which is kind of cool. We're going to go with Shot of Fury. Cooldown of 45 seconds. It's an activated ability on your trait, so it's the D. I activate it just like that, and I'm back up. Now, you cannot use this before the start of the match. You have to wait till the gates open. So what you'll see a lot with this, if we clear the cooldown, if the match just started, there's no minions, right? Refresh the forts. I'm up here, that gate opens, and all of a sudden this is unlocked. I will pop it, and I will mount up, and then walk out into the lane. and it's already on cooldown for 45 seconds. You want to use this on cooldown. It's a free 25 Fury. Pretty useful. Remember, I mean, that's going to get you almost a whirlwind right off the bat, and once it'll get you at least one Seismic Slam. If you land your spear as well, that's going to be 45, which would get you one of each, a slam and a whirlwind, right off the bat. And so, you know, that's pretty useful as long as you remember to use it and activate it every 45 seconds. You get, you know, extra fury for those abilities. Now if we go to level 4, this is where you build up the slam. You take Furious Blow. Damage is increased by 30% and the fury cost is increased. Now it's 20 instead of 15. But you get a 30% damage boost, which is pretty powerful. Considering it's a 1 second cooldown, with 100 fury, I can cast 5 of these within 5 seconds. You can see that's 455 damage to the target. If I hit that 5 times, that's a lot. That's what, 2,225, something like that. That's a lot of damage. Oh my god. So that's why we take that. We're also on level 7. There's 2 choices here. Ideally, you want to do Shattered Ground, which helps even more with the slam. It increases the splash damage to 100% from, I don't know what it is at this point. It's like 25% maybe. Okay, can you say winning? Like, just think about that. It's 100%. Now I'm dealing like 2,000 damage. If I launch 5 Furies, I'm doing 2,000 damage to multiple targets in this short window of 5 seconds. Now, you're not always going to get 5 in them off. You're going to have to use Whirlwind. You won't have 100 Fury. You'll get interrupted. That is a ton of damage, though. If you do need more healing, maybe you're solo tanking in a solo queue game for some reason, or you don't have a support, Ferocious Healing is certainly viable as well. We'll show this one off because Shattered Ground is more built into the actual... It doesn't change the animation as far as I know. It might. I don't think it does, though. You just deal more damage to the enemies behind the ones you're attacking, which is pretty cool. And I kind of want to show that one off, actually. Ferocious Healing is an activated ability where you heal 10% of your max health for 10 Fury, and it's a 10-second cooldown. So, you know, that's 100% of your health. If you have 100 Fury, you can be at 100% health in 10. You know, it'll take you a while. It'll take you a minute 40 to do it, but you know, you can see how you can have quite good sustain. So if I go in on the Arthas, 2 Ws, I launch the E. Get some healing from that, and I didn't use my Shot of Fury there, but I start taking damage, and then I'm just like, boom, okay, let's go back into the fight. I'm good, and then I use Whirlwind, and I'm healing from that. So it gives her a little bit more sustain, as long as you're not bursted down through your small health pool. But yeah, again, that's a choice you have to make if you need more damage or you need a little bit more healing, depending on the team comp. Leap, as I said, is the one we want to tend to go with here. You can see that's the leap animation, stunned for 1.5 seconds. You can actually chain stun, so if let's reset this. Okay, so we wait for the Arthas to come out, and he will. And then what we do is you leap in, you can chain stun. I don't think I did that right, but if you actually... Oh, now I'm definitely not doing it right. You can stun them with the leap, and then there's a short, brief stun with the spear, which is pretty cool. And you can actually reduce cooldown if you hit targets. So that's like the spear build, which we're not doing. We're doing more of a slam build, but that, you know, you could actually stun people even longer. But the idea is that you kind of leap onto them and you can stun them a couple times. But it's also really good for interrupting things like a Valor Strafe and the Zebo Ravenous Spirit. Any kind of channeled ability can be interrupted with that leap. And it's not, I mean, it does a little bit of damage, 270 here at level 20, so it's not a lot. But you can stun multiple heroes. You can do wombos on top of this, like a False Dad, Shock and Awe, Precision Strike from a Nova, landing, you know, a couple big abilities on top of it while the enemies are stunned. It's pretty awesome. 13 adds more to the sustain. You take Life Funnel. When you use your Whirlwind, your E, you remove all movement impairing effects, and it increases the amount healed to 55%. So I'm going to get a ton of health. Like, I'm already at full health already. Hey. You can see that little stun. If I even go over the wall, I might be dead here. But remember, I've got the Ferocious Healing, so I can do this, and I'm fine. We'll knock down the wall, and we'll get out. I mean, can you say OP? So I am level 20, but I mean, I'm not trying to say Sonya's OP, but you know, it's amazing what you can do. that leap is pretty cool. It's pretty awesome. And there, with the whirlwind, with the increased healing, you remove snares. Any kind of like, movement impairing effects are removed. So it's like a free cleanse, which is pretty cool. Now, if you're polymorphed, you're not going to be able to use this. So it's not exactly a cleanse, but it's pretty useful. Like a Malfurion Root, Arthas Howling Blast, something of that nature. 16. To add more to a durability as well, because remember, this late in the game, you're going to be focused down quite easily. You can go with Stone Skin. It's a generic talent. You get 30% of your max HP as shields for 5 seconds. It's not the best on her as it is, say, on an Arthas, who has even more hit points and will get a larger shield, but it still helps, and just a little bit for you to land your abilities and stay alive, because people are going to focus you. They're going to recognize that you're a low hit point tank and trying to focus you down. The other ones, there's some other good choices, but with this I would suggest going with Stone Skin just for that survivability, especially with Leap when you're leaping into the fray. Of course, the Stone Skin just looks like that. You can see I get a shield. I don't even need the shield right now, but that's what it would look like. And we can kind of use the... Here, if we clear the cooldowns, we'll go in here, we'll do the fight into the fort again. I don't think he's going to make it. We can use some of our Fury there to heal up. We'll pop Stone Skin even. Stun him a little bit. You can use the leap as an escape, I should note. We'll get the kill. We're fighting under the tower the whole time. I mean, obviously at level 20, forts aren't as strong as they are early game. But you can see that she has, with this build, a good bit of sustain. And the damage coming out of the W, I didn't even use that many, but it's a lot. If we do a few of these, I actually think I destroyed the fort there by mistake. But it does a good chunk of change. Now level 20, going to be Resurgence here. If we're going with Leap, we'll show off Area Crater here just to show you what the effect is. It is 4 seconds, so if I stun somebody, they're stuck in here with me. And occasionally that can backfire if you stun maybe 2 heroes and then they just kill you while you're trapped in there for 4 seconds. Because I believe you can cancel it too. So remember that. If you take the crater, you can cancel it after a second. But it's a 4-second CC there to trap and isolate like a single hero or maybe 2 heroes that are running away that are low health, and your team can then focus them down. But I recommend Resurgence here instead of that. If you took Wrath of the Berserker, which we're not really doing here, but if you did, you could take Anger Management. It actually, the duration is increased by 1 second for every 2 Fury instead of 4 Fury, so it's basically just going to last as long as you're attacking things forever. And it increases the reduction of disables from 50% to 75%. Pretty awesome if you do try out Wrath of the Berserker. It's certainly worth a shot. But with Leap, I would go with Resurgence here. Alright, so that does it for Sonya. We'll show her off in the game. Remember, shot on a Fury, use it on cooldown. Build up your W on 4. If you need more damage, go with Shattered Ground on 7. If you need healing, you can take the Ferocious Healing, the activated ability here. Use the Leap for the interrupts, but certainly try out Wrath. We'll go into more in-depth on that on a future video. Life Funnel here on 13 to add to her sustain. We're getting later in the game Stone Skin as well, and then Resurgence on level 20. Unless you want to be really cheeky and have like a Ravenous Spirit, and then you stun their whole team and then they're locked in there for 4 seconds while the Ravenous Spirit goes to town. You could set up some cool wombos with this, but Resurgence is definitely, I think, the better talent there at level 20. Alright, so that's Sonya. We'll show her off a little bit, and if you have any questions, let me know. Feel free to make requests for certain heroes. We're trying to get them all done before the beta comes out, and of course, let me know what you guys think. Any feedback's welcome. And I'll see you guys soon with some more content, guys. Thanks for watching. Appreciate it as always. Thank you.